My brother thought he'd taken everything from me by sleeping with my girlfriend, until Dad's last decision left him with nothing. My brother slept with my girlfriend and genuinely believed he'd come out on top. He was wrong. Dad's final, unbreakable ultimatum stripped him of everything he thought he still had. His entire world collapsed that day. This all happened when I was 17. Back then, life felt pretty ordinary. My older brother, Chris, was 25 and we'd always been tight. We had no choice. We lost Mom when I was 10, so after that it was just the three of us, me, Chris, and Dad. Dad held everything together with everything he had. He worked brutal hours but never missed a chance to be there for us. He was the kind of man who lived by a code: loyalty, honesty, family above all. He told us straight up more than once, "If either of you ever stab someone you love in the back, don't expect me to stand behind you." Cheating, betrayal, those were unforgivable in his book. I took it to heart. I assumed Chris did too. I was dating a girl named Ashley at the time. We'd been together a full year, and at 17 that felt like forever. I was convinced she was the one. We were inseparable, constant texting, movie nights, the whole teenage romance package. She'd been to the house a million times, had dinner with Dad, hung out with Chris whenever he was around. I loved that they got along. Never once did a red flag go up in my head. Then one afternoon, everything shattered. Track practice ended early. Coach let us out an hour ahead because of some upcoming meet. I came home earlier than usual, dropped my bag inside the door, and headed to the kitchen for something to eat. Chris's car was in the driveway, which was odd for a weekday, but I figured he had the day off. I didn't see him downstairs, so I assumed he was upstairs gaming or whatever. I was about to text Ashley to see if she wanted to come over when I heard muffled voices coming from my bedroom. Chris's voice, and hers. My stomach instantly knotted. Why were they in my room? Nobody went in there without me. I told myself it was nothing. Maybe he was showing her some old photos or a video game. But the laughter drifting down the hallway wasn't casual. It was intimate, private. I climbed the rest of the stairs slowly, heart pounding louder with every step. I pushed my bedroom door open without knocking. They were on my bed, together, clothes half off. The image burned itself into my brain. Time stopped. They looked up at the exact same second, two deer caught in headlights. Ashley let out a strangled gasp and scrambled away. Chris just froze, mouth open, no words coming out. I couldn't move, couldn't speak, couldn't even breathe properly. My brother and my girlfriend, in my bed, in my house. Ashley started babbling excuses. Chris muttered something that might have been "I'm sorry," but it sounded pathetic. Then Ashley actually said they had real feelings for each other, like that made it okay. I finally found my voice and screamed at them to get out. Ashley begged me to listen, to talk it through. I told her we were finished. Done. No discussion. They left the room. I stood there in the doorway shaking, staring at the rumpled sheets like they belonged to someone else's life. Then I sank to the floor. How long had this been going on? How many times had they laughed behind my back while I was at practice? I felt like the biggest idiot on earth. I grabbed my keys and left the house. I walked for hours, parks, streets, anywhere that wasn't home. I couldn't face either of them. I was 17 and my entire world had just detonated. Eventually I went back because I had nowhere else to go. Dad was in the kitchen. One look at my face and he knew something was catastrophically wrong. He didn't bother with small talk. "Talk to me, son." The whole story poured out, every ugly detail. Dad listened without interrupting. When I finished, his face was stone-hard, jaw clenched so tight I thought his teeth would crack. He stood up slowly, walked to the bottom of the stairs, and roared Chris's name so loud the windows rattled. Chris came down looking pale, already knowing the storm that was coming. Dad didn't give him a chance to speak. He tore into him, pure, controlled fury I'd never heard before. "You did this to your own brother, in my house. After everything I taught you." Chris tried the "it just happened" line. Dad shut it down instantly. "There's no just happened when it comes to family. You made a choice." Then Dad delivered the ultimatum that changed everything. "Pack your bags. You're out tonight." Chris looked at me, silently begging me to say something, anything to stop it. I couldn't. Dad's word was final. Chris tried one last time. "You're seriously kicking me out over this?" Dad's answer was ice cold. "I'm protecting the son who still has honor. Get out." Chris packed one duffel bag, walked to the door, paused just long enough to spit, Fine, I don't need any of you. Then he was gone. The door slammed like a gunshot. Dad and I sat in silence for a long time. The house suddenly felt huge and empty. That night I lay awake listening to the quiet where my brother's footsteps used to be. Years passed. Chris never reached out. We heard rumors. He and Ashley didn't even last a year. Dad and I kept moving forward, just the two of us, until Dad got sick. Stage 4 cancer. Aggressive, terminal. I became his full-time caregiver. Appointments, meds, midnight talks, bad jokes to keep the mood light. We never mentioned Chris. It was an unspoken agreement. Dad fought hard, but the disease won. He died at home with me holding his hand. The funeral came and went. Chris didn't show, not a text, not a flower, nothing. When the will was read, I learned Dad had been quietly saving and investing for decades. The house, the accounts, everything went to me. Chris received the legal minimum, a token amount that made contesting pointless. Dad's final message was crystal clear. Loyalty has consequences, and so does betrayal. A few weeks later, Chris messaged me out of the blue. First contact in years. We met at a coffee shop. He looked rough, older, thinner, defeated. After awkward small talk, he got to the point. He'd heard about the inheritance and thought it was unfair. He wanted me to share. I almost laughed in his face. He spent 10 minutes trying to justify himself, blaming Dad for favoring me, blaming complicated feelings, blaming everything except his own actions. When he realized I wasn't budging, he got angry, accused me of being bitter like Dad, and stormed out with a parting shot about me ending up alone. Our aunt tried to mediate, begged me not to close the door forever. I told her the door wasn't locked. Chris just had to walk through it without demanding money as the entry fee. He never did. I moved into a new place, started a new job, built a life that didn't revolve around old wounds. Some nights I still miss the brother I used to have, but I never doubt the line I drew. Dad taught us both what loyalty costs. One of us listened. One of us learned the hard way. And that's the only ending this story was ever going to have. Thank you for watching my story. If you enjoyed it, please subscribe and press the bell icon. Stay tuned for more real-life stories, get more experiences.